Here today, you have my full testimony, so I won't read it. I am Kristin Reif from Philip Morris International. I'm the Director of Illicit Trade Prevention. Because of our background in combating illicit trade in tobacco, we have a core competency in the crisis of online illicit trade, counterfeiting, ORC. Just a couple Michigan stats for you here in Michigan. 20% of all tobacco sales are illicit or non-tax paid. That equates to $200 million lost by Michiganders every year. But I don't come to talk about tobacco because criminals don't care. They are product agnostic. They will move anything that they can make money off of. And really, the pandemic was used to accelerate that. Whether it was the 600,000 counterfeit N95 masks headed to Detroit area hospitals, or whether it was the vaccine themselves. Our work with the Department of Homeland Security allowed me access to seeing the online platforms at which criminals were selling empty vials of the vaccine at the early part of the onset. When I was with DHS and they were showing me this, they actually said, Kristin, it's not illegal actually to sell empty vials. That in and of itself is not breaking a law, but the question has to be, at that point, who's buying them? Who's selling them? What are they doing with them? That should be something that scares everybody, because these criminals have really taken advantage of the most vulnerable at the most vulnerable time. What we do, and to the discussion of some of the solutions potential, in addition to supporting the INFORM Act, which we believe will shine a light on some of this criminal activity, we've taken a comprehensive approach where we're using research and intelligence to not only protect our own supply chain, but to hand that over to law enforcement. We are spending millions of dollars to take down thousands of websites every year that are either illegally appropriating the brand or smuggling these products. We pledged $100 million for something called PMI Impact. It's a global initiative to support organizations fighting illicit trade. And we stood up an organization, a coalition called USAIT, United to Safeguard America from Illegal Trade. And there's over 70 organizations who are involved in that effort, and I'm proud to say that the highest number of members of that organization are based right here in Michigan. I bring this up because the Representative Clements spoke before about some of the issues with law enforcement potentially seeing, whether it's counterfeit IDs or what have you. Criminals will try to make their way around these types of elements. And this is where I bring ideas of some of the private sector brand owners along with law enforcement, combining some of these resources to really try to weed out the good from the bad. But that can only happen and happen better when you have an additional layer of transparency involved. And sir, I think you know from your own law enforcement background, you got to really separate those who are just taking advantage to the guys who are really breaking bad. And at that point, does that additional transparency help shed a light on what is true criminal activity? And is that needed? And our belief and answer to that is yes. So as I said before, I submitted my entire testimony. But for the sake of brevity, I'll end it there, but I'm happy to take any questions, and thank you again.
I don't see any questions, but just encourage you to talk to the committee, follow up if you've got anything that you feel needs to be added.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, we've got a number of cards